Hiya, I'm Megan Berg, and today I'm going to answer one of the number one questions I get asked as a breathwork practitioner, which is, how did I get into breathwork and how did I become a breathwork practitioner? I like to think of this as a breath story because I really do feel that it's a story that's constantly being written. And so over the next little while, I'm going to kind of unpack and share my breath story with you. Today, though, we're going to flip back to 2018 where it all started. In 2018, I was living life normally, nothing outrageous, nothing out of the ordinary. Until one day at lunch, I was having a casual conversation around the break table with a coworker, and I was just speaking freely about a childhood experience I had. And in one moment, my internal environment, my internal experience went from feeling fairly normal and what I would consider to be calm and at rest to all of a sudden, it felt like I can only describe it as my house was on fire. I was feeling overwhelmed. I was feeling all sorts of things I was experiencing so much that I can only describe as being anxiety. And unfortunately for me, that feeling never left. It was like the switch turned on and it didn't turn off. And I didn't know how to turn it off. Had done some meditation. I'd done a lot of meditation at that point. Meditation wasn't helping. Lots of things. I was fiddling with nutrition and supplements. There were lots of things that I was doing and nothing was getting me anywhere. So I sought external help and chose a holistic path that included neurofeedback. And it was that neurofeedback doctor who suggested some embodiment practices. She suggested something like yoga, qigong, or breathwork. Now, breathwork pinged for me. I had some experience with the breath and with breathwork as a massage therapist. I also worked with some athletes for a period of time. And so I was very familiar with cold tubs and, post-game cold exposure. And so I knew of Wim Hof. I'd never practiced the technique formally, but I did know who Wim was. And I knew of breathwork. So breathwork really pinged for me as an area of interest. And in fact, what's really funny is a couple years before, I had actually written that down as something that I'd wanted to master. So it was already in my subconscious. I just had forgotten about it. So here we are, I'm doing neurofeedback, and now all of a sudden it's been suggested that I do breathwork. Well, I took that seriously and I bought a bunch of books. I read a bunch of books. I did a bunch of research online and decided that this was the path I wanted to take. There was something that was just pulling me forward in this direction. And so I did a bunch of research and kind of found a program. I was actually jockeying between a couple of different programs, and then things kind of fell into alignment and I ended up choosing a program and jumped in. From the first breath in the first training, I was all in. More on that in the next video. I'd love to hear your breath story, so please share in the comments below. And I look forward to sharing more about my breath story in the future, so stay tuned.